works is dead. I don't wanna die so soon. I got moves to make instead. I ain't scared, I'm prepared. Big ideas inside my head. I'm gonna make them manifest. And I'm dressed for success. I left, right, order my steps. Network, I ain't gotta do it by myself. Who you know, show me who you know. Better let them know we bout to blow. It's time to go, go, go. I'm attracting, no accidents, that's fate. Just go in and have a little faith. Faith without works is dead. I don't wanna die so soon. I got moves to make instead. I ain't scared, I'm prepared. Big ideas inside my head. I'm gonna make them manifest. And I'm dressed for success. I left, right, order my steps. Network, I ain't gotta do it by myself. Who you know, show me who you know. Better let them know we bout to blow. It's time to go, go, go. Go to work, get to work, yeah. Go to work, yeah. Go to work, get to work, yeah. Go to work, yeah. I ain't trying to trade my time, yeah. Simply wanna show you what I'm worth, yeah. Daily I'ma stay on my grind, yeah. Have a little faith and go to work. Go to work. Yeah. Go to work. Go to work. Yeah. Okay. Now go nuts.
Hey there, I'm Trevor Houston, the creator of the Who You Know Summit, and I'd like to welcome you to the Who You Know Job Networking Show.
On our program, we'd like to show you the job search like you've never seen.
Everything from getting noticed by employers, how to properly format your resume, and how to network effectively using LinkedIn to drive recruiters to your profile.
We even take suggestions from our amazing community.
So if you want to learn all things job search, go ahead and subscribe now.
Focus! It's all about the job search. So if you want to learn how to land that next success, you heard them. All you got to do is subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss out on a thing. Welcome to the Who You Know Job Networking Show, where what you know is important, but who you know?
Who you know can make all the difference in your job search.
The title of the show.
It definitely can. We're super excited. We got an amazing session for you today, and we got to go to the audience to see who we got tuned in. We got Michaela Price, we got Kat O'Toole, we got Mitch Jacobs. Who do you got?
My comments are a little off, but we got Hope.
We got Meg Rose.
Meg Rose, the hype lady, Paul Haggerty. Good to see you out in McKinney, Texas. Matter of fact, why don't y'all rep your city right now? Tell us where you're tuning in from. I'd love to give you a shout out in the comments. And while you're at it, if you're searching, I want to know what you're searching for. So let's go.
Recruiters are looking, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. Mitch says go ahead and connect with Michaela Price. Okay, y'all need to get connected for sure. Shout out to Mitch Jacobs
Michaela,
as well.
I'm coming. I'm going to connect with you.
Love it, love it, love it. So guys, we got an amazing session for you today. We do want to definitely pray over the audience. Foster, you got the prayer today.
Yeah, let's pray, you guys, because you know who makes it all happen. We know. Okay, bow with me. Father God, we are here, and we are looking. Those of us that are still looking are looking. We know that you have this under control, and you know the timing. Teach us to understand your timing better than our timing, because it's always better anyway, and help us get the right job. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen, amen, amen. So Michaela's from Irving in the house. Jim Ballard, I love saying his name. I just love it. Ballard, like he's baller.
We'll
Jim,
get
you're
baller one
baller
of these days, Jim.
Yep, I see Paul Haggerty in the chat, in the comments. Hey, Paul.
Absolutely. And guys, this is episode 285.
This is
285. So if I can get a 285 in the comments, I just want you to do it like separate comments. So 2 and then 8 and then 5 and then 2 and then 8 and then 5. So let's get the 2s, the 8s, and the 5s.
Have a 285 designation.
We're almost at 300, y'all. So I'm excited about that. Mike Mediterranean, good to see you.
Yes,
Krista Kirshner, happy birthday. Did I say happy birthday? Is it your birthday? It is today. We got Meg Rose. She says 258. It didn't come in the right order.
Denise Wilson, I miss you already.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, guys, we got a lot to be grateful and thankful for. You got the landings, right? Who do we got?
We got a parcel of landings here.
All right, get your money guns.
Get your money guns ready.
Your donut emoji.
We got our friend Lane Peeler.
Lane Peeler.
Woo! All right, Jimenez Gold.
Let's go.
Jimenez.
Martin F. McCoy Jr.
Let's go. Cash flow.
And Laura Piper.
Let's go.
Laura. Good to see you got landed too. All right, we are shooting these money guns off because these folks are back to their cash flow. So congratulations. If you are still searching, be sure to connect with those folks. They can tell you how they got landed and if that company is still hiring.
Absolutely, if that company's still hiring. What do you think, they just hired one person?
Yep. So you can get you some
right now. Golly, we got more openings right now we've ever had.
You think that's what it is? So they just hired one person, that's it? No.
Nah, I bet they got somebody else.
They probably are looking for a few more.
Yep.
And so you need to go connect with that person, because that person now knows the gatekeepers, knows the decision makers, and can help you to get your foot in the door.
That's right.
So pay it forward, guys. Pay it forward.
And everybody in the network is happy to do so.
And before you get into the tip, we didn't even talk about this, but I just want to encourage you guys to stay connected with your networks. There's a lot of people at companies right now who they may not be there here shortly because of the vaccination rule, right? So we're seeing all that all over the news.
Yeah.
And that, for a lot of people, is not something that they'd planned on. So they're going to need to help.
Listen, none of this stuff is anything we ever planned on. No one ever planned on being unemployed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not out of work. You didn't plan on that. Like, this whole COVID thing, there's a cycle happening. People are in and out. And so you need to keep a strong network.
Right.
Period.
And you know what I mean? Keep networking. Don't give it up. Our attendance is down in a lot of the meetings across the United States. I'm going to Atlanta to talk about this weekend. So, guys, we got to keep it up.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that for just a quick second. So we have noticed, right? It's the same thing you're hearing all over the place. Everybody's worried about this Great Resignation, and our guest today, we're gonna talk to him about that. The Great Resignation, we're seeing attendance in all of our programs lower, right?
All across the United States.
All across the United States. So what's going on? What's happening? We're going to be talking about that today, so I'm excited about that. We're going to get to dive in. I'm actually, I'm going to be featured tomorrow on Fox News Radio talking about this exact same thing too. So I'll get that content out to you guys as soon as it's available to me. But it is real.
What do you got for tips?
The tips, listen, I was going to go one direction, but I decided to go a different direction with the tip today.
Come on with it.
Okay. So, and this happened from the conversation we had earlier today. So I've decided that because of this attendance problem, it's directly resulted to this, that we're going to go, and it's actually a good thing for the job seekers, but we're going to end up going to on-demand. Our summit's going to be an on-demand course. Okay? It's not going to be a live webinar. Right? Matter of fact, we'll have live webinars, but you're going to have to go through the on-demand course first to get access to the live webinars. Okay? Because, listen, we're giving of our time, right? We're giving of our time.
Lots of it, too.
Lots of our time. And so I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? If there's 3 people on a webinar, like, why can't they just take an on-demand course versus if you know what I'm talking about. Like, just have them go through the course first, and then we'll have the live webinars, as a access point after they take the course. So I'm putting that together. I'm excited about that because we want to have different elements. We want to have live training, like in-person live training. We're putting some of that together. We're going to have on demand, so you can, like Netflix, take it. You could be 3 o'clock at night in the morning.
Hit the button.
Hit the button, watching the videos, getting the info.
Smash that button.
And then we're going to have the live webinars where you actually get to meet and greet us, and we'll be teaching it live on a webinar like a Zoom. But we'll have all of these elements because one of the things I started thinking about as attendance started to drop is, you know what? Maybe people are burnt out on Zoom. They're Zoom burnt.
There's some that are,
Right? And think about college. When you go to college, they don't just give you live in-person classes. They don't just give you on demand. They give you all the options, so you have absolutely no excuse but you. You're the only excuse of failing.
Your choice,
Right? So if you want to go see the professor, you can go see the professor. If you want to watch the videos, you can watch the videos. If you want, right? So same thing, and that's what I'm going to create for the job seekers so that there's literally no excuse. Zero excuse. All right? That's what I want to do. So, if y'all are about that, Who You Know Summit on demand, let me get you down there in the chat. Just put on demand. Jason said
he's burnt.
Jason says he's Zoom burnt, right? I'm Zoom burnt.
I love Zoom. I can't get enough.
I'm Zoom burnt. Like, I've been doing these presentations forever, and I'm just like, ugh. So, I want to do the on demand so people can take it, whenever they want. So that's my tip of the week. A little bit long-winded, but that's what we're going to do.
It makes sense, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All right, guys, we got to go to a real quick break, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we got Bryan Adams in the house. And I promise a few mic drops here and there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Looking to get your real estate license. It's a very low cost entry, $300 to take your real estate course online. Inexpensive compared to like a college. EXP is $150 to join and it's like $84 a month. So relatively speaking, these are very inexpensive costs. If you are interested in that and you want to work with me as a realtor, I'd love to have you join my team, and you want to hear about the model, then go to join10xempire.com, and I do this opportunity call every Tuesday. Would love to answer your questions and tell you more about what I'm doing. If anyone out there is interested in working with me.
Hi everyone, this is my first LinkedIn video. My name is Paul Parkinson and I help companies create a competitive advantage by developing innovative computers based on Intel's NUCs. I'll be sharing some videos about innovative ways to expand Intel's NUCs into some more markets. There'll also be some videos showing a new workflow using 3D printing that slashes the cost of doing proof of concept units to help close opportunities before the competition can react. I'm looking to grow my network and share my experiences, so please tag below any professionals on LinkedIn that you think I should connect with. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Who You Know Job Networking Show, where what you know is important, but who you know can make all the difference in your job search. Guys, I'm super excited to introduce our guest today, Bryan Adams. He's the CEO and founder of Ph.Creative, recognized as one of the leading employer brand agencies in the world. Ph.Creative specializes in building world-class employer brand, EVP, and talent engagement strategies for companies such as Apple, American Airlines, British Telecom, and Virgin. If everybody can give a warm who you know welcome for Bryan Adams. Let's go.
Bryan.
Good to see you, folks.
Man, we're excited to have you because we're going to be talking about all this stuff, all these employer issues we got going on. But first, tell me about your company. I want to know a little bit about Ph.Creative, and how did you end up doing this, and where did it all come from? Where did it start?
So I actually had a great job in 2004, but I really didn't like my boss, and he made me feel really insignificant one day when he bawled me out in front of about 50 people. So I stood up, quit my job that day, and started Ph.Creative the next day. And the idea is, our vision is everybody loves their job. So we exist in the world to help companies better articulate what it's like to work there, so people can make more informed career choices and find jobs that they love.
I love that.
What does the PH stand for?
Ooh, I don't normally tell people that.
Okay. That's a secret.
So the formal, the official line is, it's about form and function, balancing the form and function of the work that we do. But actually, that's not really what it stands for.
I want the real. Tell us what it means.
I was going to say, that's so scientific.
Come on, we got to get it for the Who You Know Nation. We got to know. What's the PH?
So this is quite embarrassing, actually, but when I first started PH, I was a front-end designer and I had a back-end developer. And in the UK, there is something called a pantomime horse. So it's basically, I don't know whether that makes any sense to an American audience whatsoever. And I was the back end, and my friend was the front end. So it actually stands for pantomime horse, which is kind of embarrassing. But there you go.
Okay. I got you.
What a great. Hey, guys, you heard it first here on the Who You Know show. Something about a horse. I don't know what it was. But
Pantomime horse.
Pantomime. I don't know what. See, I don't know. See, it's okay. It's all good. Well, I appreciate you releasing that first on this show. So that's awesome. How did you end up becoming the CEO? Or you're the founder, though, right? So you created this company. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So I had a bad experience in work and quit my job, and I wanted to prove that you could grow a successful company without being a jerk to people, and prove that you can treat people with dignity, respect, and get out of their way and allow them to do great work. And I'm really, really proud of the team we've built, and I'm super, super grateful to be able to work with the brands that we do as a result of their great work. My job is essentially to take credit for the great work that my team does.
Yeah. Well, speaking of brands, right? And you've got some awesome brands, but what led you to get into employer branding? Like, what was the catalyst, and what was the reason you jumped into that industry?
Honestly, I feel like I'm really sharing the brutal truth. We started as a full-service digital marketing agency, and we didn't have any point of difference whatsoever. We fell into the recruitment space, and we found that HR folk tend to pick up the phone and call us back, and they take our call and they'd be interested to talk with us.
That's right.
So overnight, we went from having 6 million and one competitors to having about 12 global competitors. Because this was way back when employer brand was a very small industry, just sort of fledgling really. So it was a bit of good luck and timing, and also the work that we do really impacts people's lives and it makes a difference. It's the more human side of branding, and we just love it.
Yeah. And now talking about the human side of things and where people are at right now with the labor market, we've got this great resignation, right, that we were talking about and Trevor had brought up already. What are your thoughts? Like, why do you think this is happening, and where do you think it's going with the Great Resignation?
Yeah, so it's an interesting label, isn't it? Because resignation is just the act that somebody does when they're unhappy. So actually, I think we should call it the Great Epiphany, because all over the world, people are waking up saying, hey, I don't have to sit in traffic twice a day to go to an arbitrary four walls and do what I do. I can pick the kids up and walk the dog, and I can have some semblance of work-life balance. Well, people are waking up and leaving great jobs because life's too short and they've been through an emotional tough time and they want to do something else. They want to go fishing or painting in Scotland instead of being an accountant in Philadelphia. So, we've got to embrace the fact that organizations, they can't control this, but what they can do is influence it. And that's where we come in and help them shape a reputation, set expectations for the employee experience, and tell a better balanced story as to what people can expect, and also what it takes to thrive. Because from a candidate point of view, from a job seeker point of view, when you're going through that process, you want to know, do I have what it takes to thrive? And do I actually want to give that commitment and sacrifice? Is it worth it? Is the give worth the get?
Yeah. Hey, Bryan, I have a question because I'm a recruiter. I don't want to tell you guys how long I've been recruiting, but you can look at my hair. Well, what hair I used to have. But anyway, I understand what a brand is for a company. We have some companies that in Dallas-Fort Worth that really, really stick out on the branding part. And why do you think, in your opinion, what you've seen, why do you think it's so hard for companies to find the right people now?
Well, it's a good question, but and it's funny for people struggling to find a job. You wouldn't think that there's a huge industry behind the scenes for organizations trying to brand themselves to be more attractive to the right type of candidates. And the fact is, well, you've been doing this for many years. Recruiters can be overwhelmed by unqualified candidates, and what they really want is the right type of candidate. They want to pick up a CV and put people forward that are ideally matched. So branding isn't just a magnet to attract, it's a smart filter to allow better choices. And actually, the best candidate experience you can offer is information enough so people don't apply in the first place. We don't want to waste people's time. We certainly don't want somebody to find out something they weren't expecting on day one of their new job and discover, actually, I don't want to work here. This isn't what I was expecting.
So is that what you're talking about on your form when you put repelling candidates is the best strategy for winning the war on talent? So that was going to be one of my questions to you. What you meant by repelling? What do you mean by repelling candidates, pushing them away?
So I'll give you an example. So when we worked with Apple, we discovered work-life balance isn't great inside of Apple. You've essentially got to work really hard and leave your soul at the door. And for some people, that's a big turn-off. But when you tell a story about if you join Apple, you're going to be pushed really hard. You're going to be held to very high standards. You're going to be surrounded by the smartest people in your life. You're going to find out just what your potential is really worth, and then you're going to see your work in the hands of millions of people every day. Now that turns some people on, but it also repels a lot of people, and that's a really good idea of one message that brings people towards your brand and also pushes people away for the right reasons. And when you talk about capabilities. And you create campfires for people to sort of come around, which are real truths about the employee experience. You can do so in a very inclusive manner. So everybody's welcome to listen to the storytelling and make up their own mind. And if you can start then to get more qualified candidates who are ideally matched to the roles, everybody wins. We've all been there.
I'm going to give you a mic drop for that, because
That's true.
I actually I got to hear 𝙒𝙤 𝙆𝙆 actually talked about the same thing at Video Marketing World. It was one of the takeaways I got from her, which was, for every one person that you push away, for every one person you push away, there's 10 more people knocking on your door, right, ready to do business with you. And the whole point of that is, through authenticity, that you are going to push away the people that aren't right for you, right, that aren't a good fit. You're going to push them away because you're being authentic, and if they don't like what they see, they're not going to come. And you're also attracting the real good fit, because those people, because you're being transparent, they're going to see what it's like, and they're going to want to work with you. So you're going to push away the people that don't need to be there.
Yeah.
You're going to bring in the people that do want to be there. So I like that. That's a great
One
thing
as a recruiter, and I'd like to watch your face as I say this, Bryan, but a lot of times, companies show their best, they put their best foot forward. When they got a candidate that they know is a hot candidate, they know other companies are looking to hire that same person. So let's say if I can attract that candidate to work here at my company, but from the candidate side, all the things that they're told in the very beginning, if the company turns out not to be what they're saying that the company is, that retention is not going to be there. That most job seekers are going to move on to another opportunity, because with other companies trying to call on them and hire them, usually higher salaries are involved with that.
100%.
Yeah, there's no getting away from higher salaries being a big component. And there's three types of organization: those that trade on being a career catalyst that can propel a career forward, those that trade on their culture and how it feels to belong at an organization, and those that embrace the citizenship of their organization and demonstrate their ethics and values and their impact on the world, people's lives, and their community outreach and so on and so forth. Patagonia is a great example of that.
Yeah.
McKinsey is a good example of career catalyst. So, we could go through it all. Once you know as an organization what your strengths are, you know your authentic truth, you can build stories around that. There's adversities and harsh realities in any job. Any job.
Yeah, 100%. You can't have it all. You can't have it all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'd like to do too. I'd like for the audience, if they could, to do this in the comments. I want you to tell me, what is the most important thing to you for that next company that you go work for? Is it pay? Is it work-life balance? Is it being appreciated? Is it the future vision of the company? What are the things that are important to you? What's the most important thing? Is it impact? What is it for you? Put it down there in the chat. I'd love to hear that.
Good question.
I've got a question for you, Bryan, because you've mentioned a few different things from several of these questions. So we've talked about the Great Resignation. We've talked about how employers have been developing their brand internally, right, for the employees to attract good talent. And then we've talked about being qualified for the positions, right? When do you feel like there's going to be a tipping point where we have these companies that are starved for good talent and employees because the employees have gone through the Great Resignation, but a lot of these companies are needing to fill positions maybe at the lower wage category, right? We're seeing that become more prevalent. When do you think, and do you think there will be a tipping point where people are going to just have to be resigned to going back to some of the old jobs that they did?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've already experienced the tipping point, and there's a lot of volatility and change, but with volatility and change becomes opportunity, right? There's going to be people who are willing to do those roles that people are leaving. The important thing is to make sure that from a storytelling perspective, we're being clear with, look, this is why you might join, but here's why you will stay. And it's not always pay, so we need to understand what is it about the motivators and drivers of the people we need and want that we can talk about and use to attract people towards us, and set expectations such that they don't have any nasty surprises afterwards. I mean, let's be clear. The Great Resignation is a huge opportunity for people who want to try something new or get their foot in the door with an organization, or just more availability in roles that in companies where there might not have been before. And this is the time to grasp it.
100%.
Companies are also now seeing very consciously they're having to put their people strategy as a top priority. So this is good news for job seekers.
It is. It's good news for the people, for sure. Yeah, it just means your work experience is going to get better, and you're in the driver's seat. I remember not long ago, right, it was the exact opposite, right? Right now, you're in the driver's seat. You get to kind of make some demands. If they were ready to hire you, you better be ready to negotiate, okay? Because guess what? They can't find people to work right now.
They can't find the right people.
And so when they're ready to sign that dotted line, you better think about it and go, what else do I want?
Yeah.
Because I'm ready to negotiate.
It's like people have shifted from being the sellers to now the buyers.
Right.
The companies are now the sellers, right?
So let's go to the audience real quick, because we did get a whole bunch of comments come in on that question.
Yeah.
So a lot of people put culture. Now, what I'd like the audience to do, elaborate on that. Right? What is it about the culture? It's kind of a buzzword. What in the culture do you want? What is it that you want to see? Because listen, there's all kinds of different cultures. So tell us a little bit deeper about what you want. I also see Janet says, yeah, being appreciated for what I bring to the table and compensated for what I give. Love that. Krista says work-life balance, integrity. All right, love that. Ann says leadership. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Oh, yeah.
So guys, tell us a little bit, for those of you that said culture, if you could, just elaborate a little bit deeper in what it is about the culture that you're looking for. Because Josh said clean bathroom, snack bar, health club.
I saw that.
For the snack bar.
For the snack bar.
right.
So I love that. Now that's culture.
Yeah. Hey, Bryan, I've seen some, I don't know if you guys have seen these studies, but there have been studies that gauge employee satisfaction, right? And what they found is it's not pay, it's not necessarily even culture, although that's part of it's related, but it was being empowered to do their jobs was the number one thing, right? Are you seeing companies branding that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the three foundational building blocks of a good employer brand understands their strengths from a purpose, impact, and belonging perspective. We want to turn up and do a job that has some meaning. Okay, so what's the purpose of this? What's the purpose for me, and what's the purpose for the organization? Impact: does my contribution make a difference? If so, what is that difference? And then a sense of belonging, which is we often talk about that from a cultural perspective. But can I bring my whole self to work? Do I feel comfortable with the people around me? Is it conducive to get work done? From what's the sort of the sociability around the working environment? And typically, that's what people are unconsciously looking for: a mixture of those three things: purpose, impact, and belonging.
Wow, yeah, that's so true.
I'm going to drop the mic on that.
Yeah, hit the mic drop for that.
Yeah, get a mic on that.
For me, it's all about like maximizing my potential. And so I know this has been reasons for me leaving companies before, is as soon as I feel like my potential for growth, right? And I don't mean monetary growth, just overall growth with that company. As soon as I feel like that's like, I have a ceiling and I can't grow anymore, I'm like, I gots to go, right? Because there's more in me than that. Like, this is not all I have. So as soon as you put that ceiling on me, I'm like, peace, I gotta go.
And for me, as a VP director level candidate, if a company hires me, they've got to empower me to do my job and do it well, because I have, at one company, I won't name it, big telecom company, I had almost 100 people reporting to me. So me and my ability to build that team to be able to function the way that that company hired me to do is very important. But guys, job seekers, I want you to hear this. We can get a lot of those questions answered in that interview process. Be very probing with these companies and find out what you're plugging yourself into. Leadership is very important. Cat O'Toole said, have your back and you have mine kind of thing, an environment of trust and not us against them.
So I
Thanks,
have a question for you, Bryan. So typically we've seen employers wanting candidates to jump through hoops, you know, personality assessments and all these different things. They're making them jump through hoop after hoop after hoop. We've seen them looking for that purple squirrel, that perfect candidate that doesn't really exist, right? And then offer them, want them to work twice as hard for half the pay.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you starting to see some of those walls start to come down? Like, okay, we know they're paying more now. We've heard that. Are they starting to get rid of some of these hoops, like get rid of some of these personality assessments and like make it easier for people to get in, or what's going on?
Yeah, so we do something called experience mapping. So we go into organizations and we map every touch point and we look at every point of the candidate journey. And what we're finding is, first of all, the trend of candidate ghosting has gone through the roof. You know, and that tells us that candidates are less prepared to put up with waiting for long periods of time. It tells us they've probably got multiple offers on the table. I think we said this before. So organizations are being forced to have to change because of the audience demand, you know, because of the expectations and the environment of people aren't willing to wait. You know, and the tables are being turned. And, you know, interview stage, you know, I urge job seekers to interview the organizations and the hiring managers and recruiters just as much as they're interviewing you. And actually, what a great way to make a first impression anyway. But, you know, candidates are now turning up with between 6 and 8 hours of research on the organization before they make any first engagement with the company. So the tables are definitely turning, and that's forcing organizations to have to change.
6 to 8 hours of research on that company, guys. I just want y'all to know, y'all job seekers, if you're not doing 6 to 8 hours of research, right, your competition is, think about that. Think about that for a second. Your competition is doing their homework because they're being very selective in this process right now. And they're trying to get everything they can get. They're trying to get it all right now. And so if you're not doing your research and you're kind of going in, you know, haphazard, you're kind of just getting in there and you're like, I'm just going to walk into this interview. Probably not going to work out for you.
One of the number one things in interviews, guys, we companies want to feel, of course you're going to say, I'm interested in your company, I'm interested in your job, but can you prove that? Have you done? Can you tell me something about my company? Are you really interested in my company, my job, what we're talking about in that interview?
I love that. I want to flip it too, right? Because the company needs to do 6 to 8 hours of research on the candidate.
Yeah.
Not without me going through all your personality assessments. You got to look me up, do your own.
Not 6 to 8 hours of interviews.
No, not 6 to 8 hours of interviews.
Research on you.
Yeah, you better you better be Googling the heck out of me, and you better bring something to the table in my interview. Tell me something.
You know,
about me in my interview that no one would know because you were doing your research. You better tell me why you brought me here in this interview.
And as a matter of fact, you should make it a goal to be able to tell them something about their company that they don't know.
There you go.
Bingo.
Boom. Talk about impressing.
There's a lot of information out about companies. You can pick up
all these mic drop moments. I love it. Yeah. Like we just got to let us, do a little research.
This is from Mark.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, yeah, we've got a bunch of mic drop moments already.
Yes, and okay, so let's do this before we go to the break. We got some fun stuff to give away. So, Bryan, you're also an author. Can you tell us about your book?
Yeah, sure. I released the book in March last year. Probably the worst time to ever launch a book, but it's still it's doing great now. Employer brand. It's Give and Get employer branding. And it's written to help organizations better brand themselves to attract the right talent. Interestingly, from a gamekeeper turned poacher perspective, it gives great insights to how organizations are gearing up to deal with candidates. So job seekers might find that interesting as well. And I'd be happy to give a few copies away to
let's go. Let's go. I like giving stuff away. That's my favorite part of this show. All right.
I got a good question.
We already know what the question is.
We know what the question is?
He told us at the beginning.
He told us at the beginning. I bet we're on the same
I think we are.
Yeah.
So we'll do 5. 5. We'll do 5. We're going to give away 5 books, y'all. So what's the question?
So he mentioned it, right? Exclusive here, exclusive release on the Who You Know show.
Yeah.
What does PH stand for?
Oh,
PH
yeah.
Creative.
Yeah, what does PH stand for? Tell us in the chat.
Yep.
And we're going to give some books away. So the first 5 that get it, we'll go ahead and give that away. So get in there right now.
Get in there.
And even if you don't know the answer, maybe you just put, people,
Yeah.
human. People human. People
I wish
human
that was the
creative.
truth.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah,
hire.
Brian doesn't really want you guys to know that, but
All right, so Jason Hopper, Pantomime
first.
Horse. Pantomime Horse.
Pantomime
and
horse.
Cat
Yeah.
O'Toole got it
Pantomime
too.
Woo, Jason Hopper. Hold
That's
on.
right.
So we got Jason Hopper. We got Cat O'Toole. We got Paul Haggerty. All right. Mitch Jacobs. Oh my gosh, they're coming in everywhere. And then Ross
Robin.
Kavanaugh.
Roska. Okay.
Yeah, Ross Kavanaugh. So there's 5. Congratulations! Woo!
Right.
Yes. Don't worry, we got more books to give away. When we come back, we got to go to a real quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You have something unique to offer your next employer. Whether it's your experience or your work ethic or your passion or your personality. But how do you stand out from the crowd when you're stuck sending plain text emails that lack personality, lack humanity, and worst of all, look like every other email in the inbox? Job seekers just like you are discovering how easy it is to put their humanity back into their communication and back into their job search with BombBomb Video. Visit bombbomb.com to start a free trial today and rehumanize your job search.
So I joined the Who You Know Network a few months ago during my job search, just trying to find other avenues that could help me land a position, and I finally have done that. And I thank the Who You Know Network for that. It's a great group of people who are really willing to do whatever it takes to help you find a job.
Hello, Who You Know crew. Thank you so much. Just a quick shout out of gratitude to all of you for your help and support during the summit process and beyond. Feeling very accomplished based on the tools that you provided, the support.
I can't say enough about the Who You Know Network. Trevor and the guys were very instrumental in making sure that I got increased activity in my job search. Taught me a lot of tools and tricks, a bunch of other stuff that you'd think a guy like me who'd been in the recruiting business for a while would already know, but they've been very helpful and I would highly recommend them.
Welcome back to the Who You Know Job Networking Show, where what you know is important, but
who
you know? Who you know
Who
can
you know
make all the difference in your job search. And now, because it's the second half, y'all. Look, listen, I'm going to get comfy. Hold on, I'm going to take my shoes off.
Oh, no.
Everybody at home,
man.
y'all need to take your shoes off, too. Come on in.
You got your odor eaters in, man? You got your odor eaters in?
Everybody at home, take your shoes off. Relax with us. Come on in. Let's see who we got in the audience. We got Mitch Jacobs, Jason Hopper. I see Gabe Leal. What's going on, man?
All right, David Kavanaugh, Mike Warner.
Kavanaugh.
Hey, Mike. We mentioned Ross
of
Kavanaugh
course, and there's Mike.
well.
There's Mike Warner. There he is.
Yep, and Mick Rose, our hype lady.
Take your shoes off, y'all. Come on, relax. Kick it with us, all right?
Josh Ferris, PH, is not party hard. Okay, so just so you know.
I knew Josh would come up with a unique one.
Good guess, though. Good guess.
Oh yeah. So okay, it's second half, you guys. Now it's the second part of the show. The score is tied. Cowboys, right? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so Bryan, what do you think the job seekers should be doing to brand themselves? How do they get all that done? How does that happen?
So that's a really interesting question. I think, first of all, by doing your research on an organization and asking some really smart questions that prove you've taken an interest in an organization, you will immediately get the attention of a recruiter or hiring manager. You know that. But generally, from a personal branding perspective, have some really interesting stories about your life that demonstrate your greatest sort of superpowers, your characters and character traits and capabilities. It might be a challenging time in your life and how you overcame it. It might be a specific aspect of expertise that you can demonstrate in a colorful story, something that is memorable. So when you're looking at 3 or 4 or 10 or 20 CVs after the process, you're going to stand out. You need to go in there with a game plan that's going to help you stand out and be the most different and the most relevant. And a lot of that is just by simple stories that people will remember that are relevant to the process. And don't be afraid to ask difficult questions. How do you treat your people through COVID? I noticed you downsized. Like, how did you deal with that? Or I noticed you were growing significantly. How did you deal with that? And this is gonna make you memorable, but really engaged and stand out. Most people are just there to just get through the questions that are fired at them. If you can turn those tables and really engage, well, yourself from your years of recruiting. The other thing is, don't be afraid to ask questions ahead of time in preparation. Strike up some chemistry beforehand and show just how professional you are and how interested you are in a role. And don't be afraid to ask for very specific feedback afterwards. All of these different points of difference add up to something that can help you get a role.
I agree.
Yeah,
that's a great point. Yeah, you need to be prepared with questions, y'all, for sure.
Yeah, if you can't convince me you're interested in what I got to offer, why should I hire you?
Yeah.
Hey, Bryan, as CEO of the company, I don't know if you're involved in a hiring process or if you have people that do that work for you, but is Ph.Creative hiring? And if so, what kind of opportunities might you be looking for?
Great question. I appreciate the opportunity to share that as well. We're looking for account directors and consultants who can handhold client partners through our employer brand process. We're looking for front-end and back-end developers in the UK. We're also looking for brand strategists in the US, and we offer you can work fully remote. We don't mind where you live, and we can make it work. We just want the best talent, not the best talent in the location.
Woo!
Boom! Yep. Drop that mic on that one.
So let me ask you a question. So you got some positions and some roles and stuff. You're the CEO, so I'm just saying you're kind of a shot caller. So. So do they connect with you, or is that the website? Is there we got to go through the black hole and all that kind of stuff, or can we just hit you up in the DMs? How do you want me to do that? Because I'm gonna hook you up.
Well, given what we've just said about the personal brand aspect, if you reach out to me, make sure you make a great first impression. I can certainly, forward a recommendation.
That's what I'm talking about.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's challenging you too, because he's like, if you reach out to me, you better make a good first impression. Don't be coming in here and talking about, here's my resume.
Yeah, you got a job.
Right? That's the way they do.
And a lot of people do.
On LinkedIn, it's like, hey, here's my resume. That's all. Is that all you got?
Foster, you got a job? Here's my resume.
Wow. I love that you said that.
Oh, yeah.
He said, if you reach out to me, you better put your best foot forward. I want to know from the audience real quick, what might be a way, this is like a quiz question for the audience, what might be a way that you could get Bryan's attention on LinkedIn? For those of you that have been through our summit, I think you might know where I'm going with this, but I want to hear from you. I'm quizzing you. What might be a way that you get his attention that's outside the box and it's not just your normal, hey, here's my resume, right? How would you get him to have a conversation with you? Tell me in the chat. I'd love to hear that. Okay, cool. So you told us, Ross already came with the answer. He said, video, duh.
Good answer, Ross.
So let me ask you a question, Bryan. If a job seeker reached out to you either in a DM, like a direct message, an email, or even a comment on your LinkedIn content. Let's say they hit you up in either a DM, a comment, or an email, but instead of black and white text, it was like a simple video, and the video had your name on it. So literally, they on a little whiteboard they wrote Bryan, right? Would that grab your attention?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going to some effort and adding personalization is an impressive quality for sure. You know, and it's almost rude not to reply when somebody goes to that level.
Ooh,
yes, I
it's
love
almost rude not to reply.
One step further, what if they had a video or maybe a link that they could share to a video commercial where they are branding themselves for their search? Would that make a good first impression?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this shows me that it's a professional job seeker, you know, putting the effort in required to make the contact they need, you know, and absolutely that's impressive to us. We want people who can go the extra mile and they're an independent thinker and be a great ambassador for the brand. So that goes a long way to demonstrate they're willing to do that. Absolutely.
So I will say this, I love that. Great question, Mark. And for the audience, I want you to know, do it in this order, please. Do it in this order. So if you're grabbing Bryan's attention, do the personalized video first with his name on it, okay? The personalized, like we teach you in the summit, it's literally like a voicemail. You're leaving him a voicemail, but on video with his name on it. 30 seconds, okay? Then, after that gets a conversation started, because it will, he said it's rude not to reply, right?
I love that.
It will force a conversation. You will start getting that chit-chat back and forth.
Right.
Then, that's when you come in with what Mark was talking about, with that professional, edited, slick, video resume that we help you produce in the summit as well. That's the professional side after you've got the conversation started first. Okay?
And one step further that Bryan told you guys, it's the R word. And I know I'm branded for relationship, but that's not the word I'm talking about. What's that other R word? Tell me in the comments, you guys. You got to get that, because if you make it that word, you will get Bryan will want to reply to you. We have something to talk about.
The R word?
The R word.
I know your R word.
I thought the brand was barbecue.
Well,
I gotta give a quick shout out to
there's somewhere in it.
To 𝐶𝐸 and to William McLaughlin. So they're talking about some tools in here.
Yeah.
So we've talked about bombbomb is a tool. Bonjoro, Lion Desk. I haven't heard of Lion Desk, but I'll take a look at that. Video Ask is actually a really unique tool. I can't remember the pricing on that, but it's actually very, very unique because it incorporates video and it's interactive video. So it's like video with a survey in it. So you could say, what do you like better, cats or dogs? And they click cats, and it takes them down a sequence. So it's really unique, actually, right? So you could get creative with Video Ask. So that's a great one if you're a creative person, right? So I love that. Great ideas, guys, in the comments. I appreciate y'all coming in with that.
It may be even worth, adding in a dad joke in your video.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
It might even be worth that.
No.
Robin got it.
Hey, do you know when a joke becomes a dad joke?
Okay.
When it's apparent.
Okay.
Hey, Trey, I know you're back there. So we have a producer for y'all that are watching the show. We got a producer. His name's Trey. Hey, Trey, will you cut Mark's mic off? Kill his mic right now. These dad jokes are killing me, man. I can't.
I
just
got a
can't.
dad joke to tell you for the next show.
It's ridiculous. All right. Okay. So I got another question for you, Bryan. What advice would you give to a job seeker who they're hearing all of this? They're hearing about the Great Resignation. They're hearing that, they're in demand all of a sudden. They got leverage, but yet they're still getting their face kicked in, in this job search. They're not getting any hits. They're still getting ghosted. They're getting the black hole. They're having a rough time, and they're hearing all over the news, You know.
Oh yeah, more jobs available.
More jobs ever.
More jobs than there are people.
And they're still getting their face kicked in. What kind of advice would you give to someone like that to maybe lift them back up or get them back on their feet?
I guess the first thing, and it sounds obvious, but you've got to be realistic with the roles that you're applying for. So, you know, if you're being selective based on your experience and your natural strengths and all of the rest of it, then fine, that's great. But building a resume that is personalized to the role is something I'd recommend. And especially if you do your research, you'll see what values are behind an organization, you know, and usually that's all information that's all available on a career website, you know, and if you can align with what they're looking for from a cultural perspective, of course, it's got to be something that you do agree with. It's got to be true. But if you can use the same language and you can demonstrate that you might be a good cultural match, then that'll go in your favor. And then obviously highlight the accomplishments and achievements that are relevant to the role, that demonstrate the capabilities and expertise that you might need to do a role. And that can be on any level. It can be a highly skilled professional role, or it could be anything below that. But personalization and taking the time to put that research into good use starts with your first submission of any resume or application.
Yeah. No, personalization.
Yeah. Relevance was that word that I was trying to hit at.
Relevance, yes.
And he mentioned that in a different context, but he said
so that was
relevance.
the R word, relevance?
Yeah, that was the R word.
I thought he was talking about relationship.
Yeah. No, that's my brand, but we're talking about Bryan. Bryan is the man today.
So Bryan,
you only have one R word.
I do have one R word.
You know that.
I'm branded for relationship, Bryan. I'm known for building those.
Bryan, I imagine over this past year with companies, at least some companies, starving for good talent, and their shift in focus to now being, the seller, and not necessarily as much in the driver's seat, so they're having to reshape their brand, retool their internal image for prospective employees. That's probably just increased and exploded your business, and your potential there. But what else do you see is going to take you to the next level in Ph.Creative?
So for us, we're lucky enough to work with some of the world's biggest and best brands, and we're really enjoying learning with every new client partnership. The key for us is staying relevant and empathetically listening and watching the marketplace, looking for trends and seeing what is changing, so we can help our client partners move with the times, and also tell them the hard truths they need to hear as well. And sometimes we walk into organizations and they claim to be something that they're not, and they do just tell the sunshine truth. And actually, our job is to help them understand what reputation as an employer do they need to move the business forward, how they should be setting the expectations of candidates and employees from a value proposition perspective, and then how to bring it to life in the talent experience, so candidate experience, employee experience, and alumni experience as well. That's where we spend most of our time doing that. But you're right, there is an uptick in number of applications at the moment, but there is still a lot of opportunity, more opportunity, in fact, than just a short while ago. So, I would encourage job seekers to stick at it, but put the work in. If there's something they particularly want to go after, focus, personalize, and do your research. That would be my aura.
Hey, what about some companies? What are a few of your target companies that you're not working with right now on the employer branding side that you would love to work with? Is there anybody that you're like, ooh, Coca-Cola, come on, Coca-Cola, or what? Who is it?
We are a network. We can make connections.
So that's really interesting, actually, because 17 years ago, I made a list of 10 brands that I would love to work with one day, and we've worked with 6 of them, but there's still 4 left.
Ooh.
Nike is one.
Okay.
That was on the list from the start.
Just do it. All right.
Yeah. So Starbucks was on the list.
Okay.
Starbucks, they need to upgrade their coffee because it's a little weak. Just saying. Nobody got time for their black coffee. Their black coffee's garbage. So Starbucks, you need to work on that.
CHRO of Starbucks is in our network.
Okay. All right. Next.
Oh wow, fantastic. We'd love to work with Patagonia because we just really respect what they do.
Okay.
And Salesforce. Because they're a big tech organization, but they really care about their people.
Okay.
They've even come up with a name for their culture. They call it Ohana, and I just think it's. I've got a lot of respect for them, so I'd love to work with them as well.
Very cool. Hey guys, so this is the Who You Know Job Networking Show, and just as much as we're trying to help you get back to work through networking, hey, listen, if you know anybody, at some of those companies he just mentioned.
That's right.
You know what? Hey, just saying, let's do a little networking.
Help Bryan out.
You never know.
I don't want to open up a huge can of worms, but right now, and I'm going to go here, right now we got companies that are potentially letting employees go in an already tough environment to get in attract and retain talent. They're looking at letting employees go for not being vaccinated. Are you developing any strategies for companies on working with a brand surrounding that?
Yeah, so this is a real hot topic, and what we're advising is,
don't do it. Don't do it. That to me is the nail in the coffin that you're not going to be able to get back out because people are going to remember that for a long time. Like, I feel like, anyway, I could go on and on, but go ahead.
Let Bryan answer. Come on, Bryan, put you on the spot.
I'm inclined to agree, and essentially you've got to play the long game, and you need to be able to justify your decisions in 12, 24, 36 months time when people say, hey, why did you do that thing? And if you're mandating and forcing people to do it, our advice is you need to have a very coherent and congruent story to tell and a reason why, and it needs to resonate and stack up with who you are as an organization. It's got to be something you're willing to stand behind for the test of time. But otherwise we would advocate for letting people make their own mind up. But it's not always possible. There are some industries and sectors where there's a greater good, where you have to sort of be responsible and think about the people that are being interacted with. So there are reasons, credible reasons, whether you agree with them or not, that are factors in this decision making. So, our general advice is, as long as you've thought it through and you're willing to stand behind it and you can justify it and context it with who you are, then you won't go too far wrong. But if you make a knee-jerk reaction decision and you can't really justify it for any other reason other than that's what you think personally, then you could find yourself in a lot of hot water. So it's not a decision to be made lightly.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I'm gonna drop the mic.
You better be really willing to die on that sword is all I'm saying. Because people are going to remember, like you said, the test of time. They're going to remember that. Like, think about that. If you got, let's say, I'm just throwing a company out there. Let's say you work for MasterCard, and for whatever reason they let a whole bunch of people go because they didn't get the vax. You ever going to use MasterCard again? Don't think so. I promise you're not. Let's say it was Toyota. Are you going to buy another Toyota after they let you go for a personal decision? You're not going to buy another Toyota, right? Like, think about that. So you better be willing.
Looking good.
Mazda's looking good. You're like, oh, I'm going to Honda right now. Like, you just have to think about that. So I agree with you. There probably are reasons why it does make sense, right, for some companies. But you better be willing to die on that sword. That's all I'm saying.
That's right.
That's a great question mark, by the way.
Look at the question that Natasha just asked. That's a good one.
What's that?
She says, how do you communicate on your LinkedIn that you are fully vaccinated? And then the question that pops up in my head is, really, should you?
Ooh.
Right.
Ooh.
Right, and she works in healthcare, she said, right?
Hey, LinkedIn, I'm talking to you right now. LinkedIn, you know how you have the green job seeker banner and you got the purple hiring banner? Why don't you get the orange vaccinated banner?
Open to vax.
Open to vax. No.
Will vax.
We need to quit labeling people. I don't like all these labels. You know what I'm saying? Come on, son. Yeah, come on, son. All these labels, like, we're all people in here is all I'm saying. Okay, so what's the best place for the audience to connect with you personally? Is it LinkedIn, or do you want them to go to the website? How would you want them to connect with you?
On LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn's good. If you type in Bryan Adams, it's spelled just like the Canadian singer with a number 1. That's the short link to my LinkedIn. Or just type Bryan Adams Ph.Creative, and I'm easily found, and I'm very active on LinkedIn.
Beautiful. Can you pull up that book?
You've got the better accent, so, you've got the better accent
Much
of
better
Bryan
accent
Adams.
than what
Can you pull your book up real quick? Can you pull your book up?
Yeah, sure.
Pull your book up. Hold that up. All right, guys, what we're going to do right now, I need you to take a screenshot right now. I need you to post this thing all over social media. This is your content for the week, okay? Post this all over the place. Hashtag #Ph.Creative, and tell Bryan, what you learned from this episode, and just make sure to blow him up. I want his DMs filling up. I want all his comments, his notifications blowing up. Let him know what it's all about to be part of this community. You know what I'm saying?
No, we had another mic drop, and I think he has some more books.
Got some more books to give away? Yeah, we got 5 more books.
What's a good question?
What is a good question?
Oh, I got that. Remember, you think that question that I posed you at the break was good?
Go ahead. What you got?
Okay, guys, at the beginning of the show, Bryan told us his opinion, his word that he uses for, what's the phrase?
Great Resignation.
Oh, Great Resignation.
The Great Reservation. Bryan came up with a Bryan word, and I want to see if you guys were really listening, because his interpretation of it would be the great, what's that word?
Not reservation.
Not reservation, not relevance, not relationship, not barbecue.
What did he say his definition of the Great Resignation? He said he'd like to call it something a little bit different. Tell us in the chat. While we're waiting, I'm going to give some shout outs.
You had to be listening if you guys.
We got Eric Krishner, we got Hope McGeeta, Jason Hopper. He says, come on, son.
Hey, we got Penny Sprague. Hey, Penny.
Yeah,
great to
Jason,
see you.
that's what I'm talking about, man. Come on, son.
Neil Anson says reset. Is that the right answer? I don't know.
Nope.
No, not the right answer.
Nope.
I wish I had a button.
Neil, that was a good guess though. Yeah.
I need one of those buttons. I need one of those So let's see. The Great Reset. No. Everybody's saying reset.
Yeah.
The Great Reset. Great Reset. Everybody's saying Great Reset.
The Great Reset is branded itself across the media.
Yeah, we got a couple shout outs though here too.
That's not Bryan's word.
Nope, that's not it. We got Ronnie Alam, we got Jim Rice. Hey Jim, great to see you.
Oh, I remember what you said, Bryan. So if they don't get it in like just a few more, I'm gonna give it to them. All right. So I see Clyde. He says restart. Denise says relevance. Mitch Jacobs says inspiration.
Nope.
No.
Getting warmer.
It kind of rhymes with inspiration.
Yeah.
Sort
I'll tell you guys this. It starts with an E. What about that? See if you can get it. It starts with an E.
Did it? Didn't you say? Okay, maybe I got it wrong. I thought it was the Great Awakening. Is that what you said? No. Dang. Well, where did I get that from?
I don't know.
We're going to see who was really
This is a hard question.
This is a good question. Not the Great Wall.
Dang, we got Denise says rebrand.
E, guys. E, Denise. It starts with an E.
Mitch says perspiration. Education.
That's a tough question. It's turned out to be
all right, why don't we just give it to him? Come on. What was it?
It was Epiphany, right, Bryan?
It was the Great Epiphany.
The Great Epiphany. You guys think about that word. That is very accurate.
Clyde had it.
What Clyde say?
Yep, Great Epiphany. There it is.
I like Clyde's last name anyway. He's DeMello.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep. And Denise says, I got that now. Okay.
Denise.
All right, so we got Clyde. Why don't we do this? Why don't we go back and some of the first guesses that we got?
Yeah, we're going to give it to the first.
Neil Anson said reset.
Yeah, let's give this.
So we got Clyde, we got Neil. Mike Warner said resignation. That wasn't, but his guess.
Get a book. You get
Warner. Ross Kavanaugh. Gave a guess. The Great Reset. Ronnie Alam said reset. So that's 5.
Okay, that's it. All right, congratulations to all of you.
Denise, I'll give you my book.
You are the next contestant on the Who You Know show.
And why don't we do
No, you
this
just
to
want a
make
book.
it easy? If you will send an email and just type in winner to
Chicken dinner.
to @gmail.com.
Did you run that by Hope?
No, it's only 10.
Yeah,
It's only 10 people.
I know.
But we'll just get those names to you. We'll get those names to you,
we'll
Bryan.
get the names to you, but I don't want to wait because it'll be 2 weeks before I get an email that says winner. That's what happens. Don't worry.
Okay.
We got you. I'll get you your books.
The names. We'll get you the names.
We'll take
Guys,
you to barbecue.
That's the show. It's all about who you know.
Who you know.
Trevor Houston here, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Who You Know Job Networking Show. We hope you've been inspired, encouraged, educated, and entertained all at the same time. For information on our different events, workshops, partners, or partnership opportunities available, check out whoyouknow.show for more details. And be on the lookout for our new mobile app. You never know how this show could help someone you know? And if we've made an impact or put a smile on your face today, don't forget to hit that share button on your way out. Until next week, it's all about who you know. Bye!
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Faith without works is dead. I don't wanna die so soon. I got moves to